Hey, it's me. I'm back. I don't know. I just filmed another video. I don't know if I'm putting this one up first or that one up first, or just putting them up at the same fucking time because who cares? That's probably what I'll do. But if you just watched my other video, I talked about how I recently got diagnosed with bipolar, and so this video is going to be me kind of like going more into it and explaining it more or whatever. I just wanted to start this off by saying I do have mention of like suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. I don't really get like into like grave detail or anything like that, but if that makes you feel uncomfortable or it might like trigger some sort of something or other, I just wanted to put that out there to prepare you if you still wanted to watch, or to give you the heads up that maybe this is not the video for you. So and granted, these are just my experiences. I don't really know much about like the bipolar community or like how other people really experience it. I have a few friends that have it, but I've never really gotten into like deep conversations with them about it or anything. So this is just gonna be from my perspective. But one thing that I did notice, and I started actually like, I definitely like didn't meet the criteria for bipolar up until recently, but I did do a lot of research like maybe last year about it, just because like, well, one, I was kind of curious, and two, like, I don't know, my emotions were all over the place, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I didn't know what it was, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if it actually was bipolar that, like, in the works, or if it was something else, or like, I don't fucking know. But anyways, I had done a decent amount of research to understand the generics of a bipolar. So, basically, like, a lot of people think that, like, oh, if you have bipolar, that means, like, you know, 1 minute you're, like, screaming and angry as fuck, and then the next minute you're so happy-go-lucky, and it's, like, it seems almost like an instantaneous, like, boom, 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 boom. And, I mean, I guess that could be true, really, for anybody, but from what I was reading and from the way that I was experiencing it, to meet the criteria, it's not this like random like, oh, it's 4 p.m. I'm really mad, and now it's 5 and I'm really happy, and now it's 6 and I'm so sad, and like, it's not really like that. It's you have these like periods of time where you're having like a severe like depression and all that kind of stuff, and then you have these periods of time where you have this really heightened euphoric kind of episode that is considered to be either mania or hypomania, depending on how severe it is, basically. So, I mean, I've suffered from depression since I was like, since I can remember. Like, literally, since I can fucking remember. And, back in February, it was actually, I think, the last video that I posted in February, I think it was either during that or I posted that right after, I don't really remember, but I had what was diagnosed as a hypomanic episode, which is like, I guess, less severe than manic, which is like, I guess, good, but basically, it was like, I think it was like 8 days that it lasted for me, or something, somewhere around there. But each day it got stronger and stronger until the end, and then it was like really like crazy intense, and then it just like literally died the next day. Like, it was weird. But basically, I was extremely confident, and not just like, oh, you know, I got a new haircut and I feel good. Like, this was literally like, if anybody in the world would look at me, I was like convinced that they thought I was like a goddess. Like, it was literally like, there was this huge disconnect from reality to like what I was experiencing. Like, I remember some guy like held open the door for me at the mall, and I was like I was so, I don't even know the word, but I was like, he has to want to be with me, like arrogant almost, but it wasn't like on purpose. Like, it literally just felt like everyone in the world fucking loved me, even when they were doing absolutely nothing to show me that they did. There was a day or two where I was also, well, more than a day or two, with being that high up, it also kind of made it easy for me to get irritable. So I would be really confident, and then sometimes little things would happen, and like, it wasn't severe enough that I couldn't control my outward actions, but it was like, inwardly, like, I would get enraged over like dumb ass shit. Like, I don't even remember what, but it was like these tiny things that normally I'd be like, ugh, you know, like, I'd roll my eyes, but like, this literally felt like I wanted to pick the fucking house up and chuck it across the world. Like, I was so mad over nothing. But like I said, I was able to keep that, for the most part, under control, but there was one day I sent one of my best friends a very mean text. I was upset with him about something, and I mean, I had a right to be upset, but normally he and I are some of the most open, communicative people that I know, and like, this was not, like, normally if I have an issue, I'll be like, hey, I have an issue, like, this is it, can we talk about it, can we figure this out, or this is how I feel, or like, whatever. But this was just like, I was ripping into him, like, I was not being okay. And I mean, I think that the feelings of that being very intense weren't my fault, but I don't want to say, oh, it doesn't count because I was in this episode. Like, it counts. Like, I did something that was hurtful, you know what I mean? And I mean, we talked about it, like, we're good now, it's fine. But it was really out of character for me to be acting like that. I was also extremely productive. Like, to the point where, like, one of my friends needed, like, a therapist. So I, like, took their insurance or whatever, and, like, I called all these places. I fucking hate making phone calls, but, like, during this, nope, bitch, like, I called I don't know how many fucking people, then I was calling around to find surgeons for, bottom surgery for me. I was, like, just doing all this shit where normally, like, sometimes I'll get up motivation to call people, but it's literally, like, I can make 2 or 3 phone calls in a day, and then I'm, like, done. Like, it just stresses me the fuck out, whatever. But, like, this was, like, I'm on top of the world, I am a hero, like, I am amazing, I'm just doing everything, like, I don't even know. And I got so much shit done, it was fucking great. And then, I'm trying to think. Oh, when it got, like, really bad, so I was talking a lot, like, I don't know, I guess kind of like a chatterbox or whatever. I was extremely horny, like, I never in my life, and it was more like a mental, at least for me, it was, like, I've heard mixed things, but for me, it was, like, a mental horny, because I was, like, so confident that it was, like, this, like, ego satisfactory kind of thing, rather than, like, typically when I like to have sex with people, it's because I like to connect with them. This was more like, it was like, I don't know how to explain it. I just felt really good about myself. And I was also a lot cleaner than I normally am. So, granted, in general, I have been getting a lot cleaner. I'm not going to show you my room because that does not reflect that statement. But, since I've had more energy and stuff, like, I sometimes can be lazy, definitely, but, like, if I'm like, oh, I think I should clean this, it's so much easier for me now to just get up and clean it. Like, the only thing holding me back is laziness, whereas before it was laziness, depression, and lack of energy because of my CF. But during this episode, I was extremely, like, not the whole time, but it was definitely the very last day, but I noticed I was cleaner the other days too, but the very last day, Mel was at work, Owen was at daycare, and I think Liv was at home. I don't quite remember, but usually when she was at home, she'd just be up in her room, so it wasn't like, it's fine. But anyways, so I remember, like, it wasn't like this, like, oh, I should clean, okay, let's do that. It was like this, I was, like, almost panicking, like, I just felt like I had to clean, like I was compelled, like like, I don't know, like someone was playing The Sims and I'm their character and they just kept clicking on things to clean, and like my brain, like I was like talking to myself, which like I do because I'm a little weird, but like this was like a little more excessive. And I remember like I'd be washing the dishes or like rinsing the dishes to put them in the dishwasher or like whatever, and I'd be like sitting like or standing there like thinking like, oh my god, there's a dish on the table, like I have to get it, if I don't get it, blah blah blah, and then I'd be running over to go get the cup, and then I'm like, but I have to wash the dishes because the dishes need to be clean, and then I'm thinking about the living room that I can see and there's a pillow out of place and I need to fold everything. And so I like cleaned the whole kitchen, I wiped everything down, which is not normal for me when I clean. I'm like, I like to organize rather than like heavy clean, if that makes sense, typically. So that was like strange. And then I went to clean my bedroom, and I remember even freaking out about like the clothes in the drawer, like even though the drawer was closed, like I knew that some of them weren't folded completely correctly and like all this fucking stuff, and I'm like just like going fucking crazy over this. And in my closet I have all my shirts hanging, and I have them in rainbow order based on the type of shirt that they are, and I remember I could not fucking remember the rainbow, like, and that's not normal for me because one, I'm fucking gay, but also I am an artist, I am a hairstylist. I've known since I was like 5 what the order of the fucking rainbow is, and I don't know what the fuck, my brain was just like in every fucking direction. And I couldn't fucking, like, I was just standing there, and I remember, like, talking out loud to myself. I'm like, I forget what color I was holding or whatever, and what I was looking at, but I was like, you know, like, what comes after green, what comes after green, or, like, whatever the fuck I was looking at. And just, like, panicking and, like, whatever, and I ended up just, like, throwing it in there and trying to sidetrack myself with folding all my socks and putting them neatly in the fucking drawer, as if that could ever work. It's fucking socks. Come on. But... I just, it was like really weird, and then I was able to calm down a little bit after that, but I remember like I felt so exhausted, but I couldn't sleep or lay down or take a nap or anything, like I'm just wide awake. That first episode that I had, I didn't have enough issues sleeping, like, like a lot of the times people can't sleep at all, or whatever, or they only sleep like 2 hours a night, like it wasn't anything like that. But I was waking up early. Like, I was going to bed at, like, 10, but then waking up at, like, 2 in the morning, or 3 or 4, and then just staying awake the whole time. But I didn't really see it as a bad thing because, I don't know, it didn't really change much, and I've always had a weird sleep schedule, so whatever. But then, yeah, I saw my psychiatrist in April, which I was actually originally going to see her because my therapist wanted me to talk to her about getting on depression meds, and then this happened, and I was like, I had done enough research and had enough friends with it to like think like this might be that. And like, if you go on depression meds when you have bipolar, sometimes it can make you go manic, which sounds like a good thing and sometimes can be, but also it can be really terrible, which I'll get into. So I wanted to like bring this up to her because I didn't want to start a depression medicine if this was bipolar and then have it like do something bad. So she was like, yeah, like that sounds like bipolar, blah blah blah. She recommended that I get on Seroquel, and I was like, okay, like let me take some time to think about this, because like really that episode wasn't super severe. It was just like, it was out of character, but there were no like long lasting effects, like other than that fight that I had with my friend where I was a complete dickhead. Like other than that, like I functioned at work okay, like I could do everything regularly fine, and it only lasted a week. It wasn't anything that was like, this needs intervention right now, you know? And so she told me that she wanted me to start on Seroquel, and I was like, let me talk it over with my therapist, let me like, I don't know, kind of accept that I need medicine and blah blah blah, like, because I don't want to just start something and then later down the road like have to actually process it. I kind of want to process it first. So that was in April, and then so I don't want to get into like all my life, but the end of March, Mel and I had broken up, and we a week later, we're moving into a new place together. So, yeah, fun times. And then all this coronavirus stuff happened. So, we broke up the end of March, then we moved like the end of March, and then I moved with my brother a week later. Partially because I needed to process shit with Mel, and she needed to process shit with me. For the record, we're actually doing really great. Like, she's really amazing, great friend. So, like, everything's fine. But that was part of the reason I moved, and then also with the whole COVID thing going on, it's, like, safer here. There's less people, like, I don't know, I don't feel like getting into it, but it just makes more sense for me to be here instead of at home with Mel. So, I had a breakup with someone I really fucking love, and then I moved twice, and this was all in the span of like 2 weeks. And I moved, not only moved, but I moved to a place I have no idea anything around here, where anything is, anything like that. The only person I'm even talking to is my brother. All my friends are at home, and they're all still hanging out, and like, it was like just all this like stressful stuff that like, you know, I wanted to be more social, but I couldn't, and like, all this stuff. And so anyways, it ended up developing into a manic episode. I think that's anyways what triggered it. Or hypomania, I don't fucking know. But I was medicating it with marijuana brownies, because I don't smoke, because I'll die, because I have CF. So that was helping for a little while, and then in the middle of May I ran out, which I'm like, it's fine, I can just deal. Oh my god. So even before that, there were periods of time, like a few days, where I would either try to stop or I would just run out or like whatever. And like the suicidal, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but like it was so intense. Like, I've never been that suicidal in my life. And I was also stressed because at the time, I needed space to process things, and I wasn't really getting the space that I needed, and that was stressing me out. Like, there was so much that was stressing me out. And I don't know, like, I just went off the I was so suicidal. I was like, and like, normally I've been suicidal, but I'm normally just depressed. So when I'm depressed and suicidal, I think about suicide a lot, and I kind of daydream about it, like, wow, that'd be so great, but I have no energy to even do it. Like, it's not even a concern, because I can't fucking walk from here to the bathroom, like, you know what I mean, like, but with this, I had so much energy. Like, this is, like, once I officially stopped the weed edibles, I only lasted for a week before I went into the hospital, because I was going fucking insane. I had gained enough weight to make me 127 pounds, and within a week I was down to 115, because I couldn't eat probably more than, like, 500 calories a day. I was either not sleeping at all, or I was sleeping up to 4 hours a night. I would just be awake, and sometimes fall asleep at like 2, and then wake up at 6, or go to sleep at 4 and wake up at 8. But it was like on the dot. Like, I could not sleep more than 4 hours. I could not eat. I even like cooked all these enchiladas that looked so fucking good. I was so pissed because I'm like literally like nothing. Like, there was no, like, normally if I smell something that I like, it's like, oh my god, I want that. Literally fucking nothing. Like, it didn't matter what I did. I was trying to go online and find stuff to increase appetite, whatever. I couldn't get more than 3 bites down. It didn't matter what the food was or how much I liked it. So I was losing all this weight. And then I was having all this energy for no reason. And I was so fucking suicidal. And, I was also very reactive, like, so in my first episode that I was talking about, you know how I sent my friend that text, and it was, like, completely fucking unnecessary, and it was me just being a dick. So that was me kind of, like, reacting to, like, I was upset with him, and instead of, like, thinking things through and being like, hey, this is how we can get to, like, a positive solution, you know, I was just like, fuck this, fuck you, like, explosive, whatever, and, like, that's not like me. But this whole fucking manic episode that I just had, like, a month ago or whatever, was insane. I was having no control over my reactions to things. It was like, I don't know, like, if I like, something so minor, like, if I dropped a pencil, I'd be fucking screaming, like, livid at this fucking pencil for falling. And, like, like, imagine road rage, okay, but, like, over not even stuff on the road, like, but over everything, and then everything was giving me anxiety, which is partially what makes me angry. Like, my anxiety usually plays out in, like, anger rather than, like, panic, but sometimes it's both, or sometimes it's just panic, I don't know, but it was insane, like, I don't even know. So then, anyways, when I finally ended up going into the hospital, it's because I went in on a Saturday. The night before, I ended up sleeping 9 hours for, like, the first time in I don't even know how long. Because even with the weed brownies, I don't know that I was getting enough sleep. I don't remember. But anyways, I somehow ended up sleeping 9 hours. And I remember, like, that whole week, I was, before the 9-hour night, I'd literally be, like, sitting in bed, like, crying to, like, the universe, like, I just want to get some fucking sleep. I can't. So I'd be laying there, exhausted, like, my body is dead. And I'm just wide the fuck awake. And my brain is thinking, oh, well, you could be doing this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And I'm like, I don't want to think. I just want to go to bed. It was so stressful. And I got the 9 hours of sleep, and then I also ended up eating probably only 1,000 calories that day, but it was still, like, a big jump for me. And I went, like, my brother was driving me to the hospital that I normally go to, so it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And we were stopping by my house first with Mel, so I could get some more clothes to bring to the hospital, whatever. And, oh, and I had a Chipotle for dinner. Not a Chipotle, I had fucking Chipotle for dinner. But when I went into the hospital, because I had gotten a good night's sleep, and because I had eaten, I actually wasn't feeling super terrible. But I still recognized that the only reason I wasn't feeling super terrible was because I happened to get sleep and because I happened to eat. And I was like, there's no promise that that's going to happen tomorrow. There's no reason to think that that would happen tomorrow or tonight or, like, whatever. So I was like, if this, like, I have a lucky day, but who knows, I could end up more suicidal. Like, I was, like, typing in shit on Google about, like, ways to commit suicide. Like, it was, like, really bad. Like, I've never gotten to that point before. But it was so bad. Like, I really felt like I couldn't handle life. For, like, no reason. It was just my brain wouldn't shut the fuck up. God. So, anyways, when I went into the hospital, or the ER, I, like, told them what was going on, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, well, you can just do outpatient since you're not suicidal. And I was like, okay, but, like, did you hear what I said? Like, I was like, I'm not suicidal at this very fucking moment. Like, you don't have to worry about me, like, doing something crazy right now. But, like, this entire past week, I've been suicidal and crazy, and, like, I can't just fucking do outpatient. And my regular psychiatrist didn't have an opening until July. And this was the end of May. I was like, I'm not gonna make it. So, but they were kind of pushing for this outpatient thing, but it was Memorial Day weekend, and I went out on a Saturday. So the outpatient shit wouldn't even start till Tuesday. And I'm like, I was getting frustrated because, I don't know, like, I felt like I needed to go in, and I felt like they were trying to kind of pressure me not to go in, or, like, they weren't taking it seriously. And, like, I was fortunate in the fact that I had gotten sleep the night before, and I could make decisions more rationally than I was used to within the past week. But it was just strange, because I'm like, You're a fucking doctor. Like, why are you not... Okay. And then, which I am not even gonna get into all this, because this isn't really relevant to my bipolar, but I told 4 fucking people there to please tell my cystic fibrosis doctors where the fuck I'm headed, because I need to make sure that my CF gets taken care of there. They all said, yeah, we'll do that. Literally no one fucking told my doctors where I was, and I got basically no CF treatment while I was in the fucking psych hospital for 10 days. 10 fucking days. Like, this was, oh my god. Like, I will make a whole video on that, maybe, but like, it was not okay. And then I felt like I couldn't speak out against it, because they think that I was just being unstable, but like, really, I was just trying to be fucking healthy, but whatever. But I went to the hospital, or they transferred me to a psych hospital, and, which was about like 3 hours from there, about 2 hours from where I'm staying. And it was, honestly, it was really nice. Well, minus the fact that I didn't get any CF care, and it kind of depended on the staff. Some of them were great, some of them were not. But it was nice in the sense that, like, everyone there had some sort of mental shit going on. I'd say probably 3/4 of them have bipolar. So that was nice to just be around people where, like, I don't know, like, it was just understood. Like, there was one, not to get all into everything, but there was this one guy, I remember he, like, punched this guy in the back of the head, and I don't know, I think, from what I was hearing, it sounded like he suffers from schizophrenia and thought this guy was talking about him when he wasn't. But anyways, it doesn't really matter. He, for whatever reason, punched this guy in the back of the head, and, you know, almost a whole fucking fight breaks out. But within, like, 4 or 5 minutes, everybody's fine. They're all friends again. Like, it was really nice that, like, I don't know, like, not that just because you have a mental illness doesn't mean that your actions don't have consequences. But it was really nice there that, like, I guess the consequences were a little bit lighter. Like, you weren't, like, losing friends left and right because you're acting out. It was just, like, we kind of understood that that's what was going on. What the fuck? So, I don't know, I really like that. And honestly, by, like, day 3 or 4, I felt pretty stable. Like, I was on medicine, I had anxiety meds, and I had my Seroquel. And he kept me there for literally an extra fucking week just to make sure, which I could have sent myself out, but I knew if I tried to do that, and then if he tried to keep me in there, like, to say that I was at risk, which I wasn't, but if he would have done that, it would have just made me so upset. So I was like, I will just wait it out, like, it'll be fine. And it was fine. And the Seroquel helped my depression a lot. It helped me get sleep. I slept through the night every fucking night like a baby. Like, not like, why do people say that? Babies fucking wake up every hour crying. I slept like a fucking I slept like a fucking bear in the middle of winter. But it was like every night. It was great. 10 out of 10, would recommend. And then I came home, and my sleep is still pretty good. Like, maybe not exactly the same, but also it's very bright here, so I tend to just wake up when the sun comes up. But it's fine. I think I was still slightly manic, not like to the point where things were dangerous or where I was like being super crazy, but I had this really, like, while I was in the hospital, I felt so fucking happy. Like, I have never been that happy in my life, ever. And I didn't feel depressed. The thought of killing myself didn't even pass my mind, which is weird, because, I mean, I usually think about that, like, I don't know, at least once a week, if not, like, 3, 4, or 5 times a week. So, like, it was weird that it didn't even cross my mind. I was so connected to, like, people and the music. They had a piano there. I wrote a whole fucking song. Like, I don't know, it was just like all this crazy stuff, which, like, it's not unlike me to write a song, but I haven't written a song in years. So, like, and I, like, wrote it in, like, 10 minutes and was in love with it, and, like, whatever, played it on the piano every day. I was singing, like, so loud, I don't know. And then I came home, and I was just doing all these creative things, and I was going on walks, like, it was, like, very new, and, like, now it's kind of settled down. I think I'm back to normal. I don't feel depressed, which is nice. This is literally the first time in my life, other than that other manic episode or whatever, hypomanic episode that I had, I don't feel depressed, but, yeah, it's the first time in my life that I don't feel depressed, and I just feel normal, and it's really nice. Like, I always knew that, like, there were people who weren't depressed, but I never really clicked or, like, grasped the concept of, like, what that would feel like. So, I don't know, it's 10 out of 10 would recommend. But I think, yeah, I guess that's my whole story. I don't know, I'll have to talk to my psychiatrist and see if she wants to add a different thing for the manic portion of it, but, like, right now I feel okay. But the only thing is that if I don't take my medicine, I do not fall asleep. But I've been taking Seroquel and melatonin to help me fall asleep, and it works like a charm, so I don't know, I guess it's good. But yeah, that's my story of being diagnosed with bipolar and all that stuff. Also, really quick, one other thing that I noticed was while I was manic, or at least while I was very manic or hypomanic or whatever, at least the second time, I'm not quite sure about the first time, but I did not feel dysphoric over my body at all. I didn't even realize it until I came down from my episode, and then all the dysphoria hit me at once, and I was like, fuck. But, I mean, I don't really know other people who are trans and have bipolar, so I haven't really heard much about it, but I'm curious if any of you are trans and have bipolar, if the same thing happened to you. I guess it makes sense. I don't know, but it was, like, interesting because I never really thought about it, and then it hit me, and I was like, wait a minute. I haven't been feeling dysphoric this whole time. So, I don't know. Interesting. But, as far as I know, I'm diagnosed with bipolar 2, because I know, I know the first, episode I had was hypomanic. I don't know what the second one qualifies as. What I was reading was that if you get hospitalized, then it counts as bipolar 1. I don't fucking know. And I don't really fucking care because the treatment is the same. So it, like, it doesn't really matter, I guess. But yeah, that's my experience. It was crazy, but I don't know. I mean, I'm doing better, so much better now. So, oh my god, so much fucking better. So much fucking better. Like, I've never felt this good in my life. And even, like, on days where, like, I'm not doing anything, like, normally if I'm not doing anything, I'm getting the worst anxiety about how I'm a failure because I'm not fucking doing anything. Or the worst depression about how I'm a failure because I'm not doing, like, I just always feel like shit unless I'm being productive. But, like, I have done nothing these past 2 days. Probably the past week, I've literally done barely anything. I feel great. Like, I feel fine. I feel bored. But that's it. I like feeling bored. I haven't felt bored in forever because all my time has been sucked up with anxiety and depression and all this stuff. And now that I'm not feeling manic, I'm bored. The one day, oh my god, that song that I wrote, I fucking downloaded all these different apps for, like, different instruments on how to play it. I spent the entire fucking day playing this song on different instruments on my iPad, and then, like, coding them and putting them together and, like, all this shit to, like, make it, like, a beautiful song, blah, blah, blah. It's not even that great, but, like, in the moment, like, I don't even know. It took me all day. I was so proud, like, but I don't know, but, yeah, I think that's basically all I'm gonna say, because I think at this point I am just rambling. So, have a nice day, have a nice quarantine. Okay, bye.